Okay, so we're just, while we wait for Ashley to fix her hair. Okay, so this is what? Podcast number 3.
Yeah.
Woo. Okay, so
I'm really confused by the fact that I'm on that
we're
side
around
of
the wrong way
screen.
because I'm actually on the left and you're
So
actually on the
when
right.
I moved over to...
I'm trying to I can see Simone there, but you're there. It's so weird.
So we were thinking of some things, and one of the things on our list, coming up with some things and lots of things. Too many things.
Great.
Today's podcast is about
Things. Speaking of things, we were talking about doing less things. In fact, we were talking about how less is more in training.
Definitely.
You were saying how you actually had a client today that you actually went out and did nothing with for a while and actually just spent some time just being with. And I think that's really important.
Definitely. I think it's more about the quality than the quantity as well. I think it's a big factor. We say it for our socialisation for our puppies all the time. It's like you want to focus on the quality, not the quantity. But I think we just want to try to do too much with our dogs and we want to achieve so much so fast. And it's hard when we have a goal that we really want to get towards. But sometimes trying to do it too quickly or too fast or doing too much in a day is not okay.
I wonder sometimes, when we do take our dogs out, and we always give our dogs the expectation of there is something's happening.
Yep.
I like the idea of, we might just go and sit at the park and do nothing.
Yep.
And then there's not always that anticipation of, we get to go play because we're out on the leash or,
Definitely.
setting them up that way. So I think doing nothing is actually a pretty cool idea.
And that's one of the first things I say to my hyperdog clients as well is we've got to spend time with our dogs doing nothing. And when you're living with a high energy, high active dog, it's so easy to fall into the trap of we've got to take them out for a run, we've got to throw the ball for them, we've got to go and do 5Ks or 6Ks or 7Ks and however much it is. And the problem with that is just keeps geeing up these already high energy dogs and creating that expectation like you mentioned that, woohoo, the lead's out, we're going to do something fun.
Yeah.
And then, I get the phone call from the frustrated owner who's going, I can't settle down with my dog.
Yeah.
My dog doesn't settle down.
Yeah.
And part of it, yes, is who the dog is.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is also that we've set up that expectation that we stand up or we go and do anything with our dog. It's going to be fast and active and
Doing stuff all the time.
doing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we've created that expectation in our dog. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So, I do say the same thing I just tell my clients to go somewhere that they haven't been before. So a new park or a new car park. I often say use a shopping centre after hours or something like that if you're feeling safe.
Lots of good smells.
And you take your dog there and you can have a picnic and just sit there and do nothing. Yeah.
Important
So,
stuff.
But
I
it's
said
a
just
skill
go.
in itself, isn't it?
Oh,
To
yeah,
do nothing,
absolutely.
To just not respond.
To relax.
And to be like, oh, dog,
Yeah.
oh, person.
Yeah. But they've got to learn how to relax and do something completely different with their people.
Yeah.
Than they do, and that's why I suggest going to somewhere new. Because if you go to one of the parks that you've already been, your dog already has an expectation of fast and active things that they do there.
Yeah.
So to set it up and make it easier for the dog to settle and for the owners to have a dog and setting them up for more successes, go somewhere that the dog has never been, that ideally does not look like a park. So that it's a different picture.
Teach, isn't it? Because that trigger's not there, because going to a particular place is a trigger for behaviour.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way. Yeah.
So I just get them to go somewhere new, like a shop, empty car park shop.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Bunnings
teach the
after
dog.
hours.
Yes, teach the dog how to settle and be calm there before you then take it to other places.
Yeah. Interesting. There was a piece of video during the week of Sam and John's proprioception, human canine proprioception course that they've just done in Melbourne, and there was a dog, one of their first dogs up, I think a spaniel of some description, I could be wrong, and lady was just standing there with the lead, and it was actually about her doing nothing. And what does the dog do? The dog actually was unable to do nothing. It actually could not do nothing.
Wow.
It was constantly moving about. It was going in front of her, going around, going to the side, ended up picking up one of the pool noodles in its mouth and sat in front of her like, you want me to be doing something, don't you? Like, I don't know how to do nothing.
So it's just throwing all these behaviours.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of these things is going to get me the yes or the click.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it reminds me at the same time as when we get, I think a vast majority of our behaviour clients through, certainly, and I'm talking about the ones that see, Nicole, our behavioural veterinarian, that one of the first things that they actually need to learn to do is to actually relax, because most of them can't.
No, that's right.
Just, and I worry about that. This is a dog that is never relaxed, and we know as human beings what we might feel like if we're, on the go all the time and we're never actually truly relaxing or getting that good quality of sleep, and how detrimental that is to just health in general.
I was just going to mention that'd be interesting to see those sorts of dogs that can't settle, their quality of sleep. Are they actually getting any quality of sleep at all?
Yeah.
That's often a question I ask, like, have you ever seen your dog chasing rabbits?
Yeah.
The number of clients that say their dog doesn't actually hit that REM sleep is
Yeah.
It's quite shocking.
You can, for people, you can actually track your sleep on your phone. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Life cycle, I think it's called. So I've been sleep cycle, it's called. So I've been tracking my sleep, and before I made all my changes, this was a typical sleep pattern. So
the camera's that
like,
way.
can you see that? So that's my typical night. So I spend very little time actually in deep sleep and quite a lot of time awake. Yeah, see that one? That's a good one too.
So deep sleep, is that the
deep
troughs?
deep
The
sleep is the bottom there.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I don't spend a lot of time in deep sleep, and
Look
I
at
was
it fluctuate.
yeah. Look at that one. That's even better. That's pretty impressive.
So you only got the one deep sleep right at the...
Yeah, but since I've been making some changes, and I have to see, there's one, I swear to God, I probably should have died. Look at that, 1 a.m., look at that.
Wow.
See, that I reckon should be like dead.
Comatose.
But in the last week, look at that, that's really impressive. See how much better my sleep quality is getting since I've changed? Look at
Yeah,
that.
Is that just a diet change? That's the only
It
change?
is, yes.
That's
That's
so
purely
interesting.
diet change. And this, I can see where this podcast is actually going to go now.
We're digressing, but in the right dog direction.
We are.
Journey.
We are. So since I've been on the new nutrition plan, but in particular I'm doing intermittent fasting. For anybody who's done intermittent fasting, I've been doing that for a week. And since I've been doing that, my quality of sleep has improved. I have gone an entire week without having to have an afternoon nana nap.
Yay!
Yes.
That is huge.
Well done.
This is the
That
face
is
of jealousy.
huge. Well, I actually thought I got a good night's sleep. But clearly the cycle thing told me that I was not. And I was lucky if I would string an hour of deep sleep together on any night. Together.
Wow.
Do you know what the recommended is?
No, I don't. No. But I know the big thing is that between the hours of 3 and 4:30 is when your cortisol's lower. We all know what cortisol does with our dogs, isn't it? And for me, I'm usually always awake at that 2:30, 3 o'clock to 4 a.m. bracket. I'll often fall back to sleep.
Yeah.
So my system is never getting to lower in its cortisol level. It just isn't.
You're not getting a break.
No, never,
Brain is
ever.
damaging.
Constantly in that cortisol because I'm just running on adrenaline. So, we know what that's like to our behaviour dogs. And as Ashley asked, it came back, is that because I've changed my diet, my nutrition? And I absolutely have. And it's part of that, taking that holistic view into what we do with our dogs. Behaviour exists for many reasons, and I can see we're about to get onto pain as well. Sleep, absolutely. Diet, we know how diet affects us.
We've seen some major changes in the dog's behaviour just by changing the diet.
Just by changing the diet, absolutely.
And doing nothing else.
Yeah. So, when behaviour exists, this isn't just always about training, and you've got to take that holistic view. And one of the big things that's coming through for all of us at the moment, and I think especially for Simone and myself, because we do proprioception work, is pain. How much pain is actually evident, and how pain affects dogs. And for me, I think the standout one is when I get the phone call that says, my dog did ABC out of the blue.
Yeah.
I seem to first go, okay, let's talk about pain. Let's look at pain.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Especially when it's out of the blue. How many times is it really out of the blue?
There's
Not
always
that many.
warning signals, but I don't know, I think we need to. That's important information that the client, they know their dog really. If they say it is out of the blue, it probably is with less warning.
maybe.
It's out of
It's
character.
definitely to them, but I mean, you know, we're comparing the level of knowledge of a owner, you know, to that of a trainer. Oh, where did that happen? Ooh, blackout.
Disappeared, yeah. Maybe that.
Scared of the dark.
Yeah.
Just checking that it is recording. I was not going to have
Is it recording?
panic. Yes, it is.
Oh, thank God.
I know, right?
So
I know.
good.
Don't worry. I did my level 2 for Sam for my proprioception level 2,
Yeah.
and it was so good. I had Kate and Biggie in here, and everything was going really, really well until I realised I hadn't hit the record button.
Do
And I
you
was
know
doing my
how
level 2 assessment.
I would have died. Are
Do
you
you know how?
serious?
Yeah, dead set. Yeah.
Do you know how many times I've done that training the horses?
Yeah.
Because I'm out there by myself and I set the camera up and I think, okay, I've got to stay in between these mental markers.
Yeah, yeah.
And a number of times I do some video and I've got some great work and all you can see is the horse's tail.
See, if you had an iPhone,
No, buy Samsung.
No.
Oh, we could get sponsored by Samsung.
no,
Hi, we
No,
love Samsung.
no.
We love Samsung. Yeah, we do.
I'm sure that if you have a Samsung, you can also turn your phone into a remote control.
I have one. The stylus is a button.
Yes.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's really good. But I'm really good at recording when I don't want to record and turning it on. So I'm like recording. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, oh, I've recorded the wrong bit.
Oh,
It's great.
dear. Oh, my gosh. Okay, digression number 23.
Yes.
1,000.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
I'm sure we'll get to that. Absolutely.
But just going back on, like the more experience that we get, and the more information that's out there about the importance of sleep and diet and everything like that on behaviour, I'm seeing a couple of things. So one is that the same sort of symptoms and the same things that you see in people, we're also seeing in dogs as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can imagine, you know, having the kids on the red cordial and everything like that.
Eating
Yeah.
Fruit Loops all day.
Oh, sugary
Yeah.
stuff.
And then when you look at some of the dog
Coke.
foods and stuff like
The
that,
food,
they're
yes.
full of grains and all these sorts
Fillers
of
and
things and
crap.
fillers and colouring and all sorts of weird things in there, and then the dogs are reacting to those and the amount of allergies that are coming up and
Yeah. Because I think we're all raw feeders, aren't we? You raw feed? Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any other way?
Yeah.
No, but it's whole food. It's real food. Like we're
Absolutely.
always told, like eat your fruit and veggies and make sure you're getting a good mix of whole foods. Like the less processed, the better the food is.
Definitely.
Then why are we feeding this dog, our beautiful animals, out of this bag of food that's processed?
And that's because I remember when I first did nutrition way back when with horses. So my background was horses rather than dogs and everything. So I'll keep going back. But it absolutely got drilled into me. I think I would have been early teen, mid-teens sort of stuff. That when you're feeding a horse, the first rule of nutrition is every horse is an individual, and you cannot get a balanced food that's going to apply
No.
to two horses
It's
the
like
same
humans.
size,
Like us.
breed,
Exactly.
doing the same work. Their nutritional needs are going to be very different,
Yeah.
and that was absolutely drilled into us.
We used to do that up on the horse farm. It was
Yeah.
the same thing. You know, there was a time when we had 45 horses up there, and
Wow.
we'd have to feed all of them, and they've all got their own bucket and their name on
Yeah,
it.
yep.
And almost every feed was slightly different quantities. Some horses had this, some had that, and whatever.
Wow.
You know, a horse is a horse. No, it's
No.
not. No,
No.
they're all different. They all have different nutritional needs, as you say.
Yeah,
And dogs are exactly the
Yeah.
same.
yeah. And then it just bewilders me in a way that you can get a off-the-shelf balanced meal
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
all dogs.
Balance for who? For whose dog? For what
Yeah.
dog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Junk food.
Yeah, it's junk food. It is. You might as well just go and feed them Maccas every night.
Fruit
Right.
Loops all day.
Ugh.
My dog won't stop. My dog keeps jumping around. Whoa, how many carbohydrates has that dog had today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food colouring. Oh, red cordial, guys. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just the whole food thing. Like, but even like I would like to offer my dog like kibble if I have kibble. And I'm like, would you like a drumstick? And he's like, drumstick.
Yeah. Bugger the kibble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will come back to the kibble, but he's like, I'll eat the drumstick first.
The kibble is purely convenient, I think, for a
Oh,
lot of
yes,
people. But I don't find that feeding raw is that much of an inconvenience. Like,
No.
it really isn't. I mean, because I buy bulk,
Yeah.
and I really don't. I actually get a lot of enjoyment of feeding my dogs different things.
Yeah. But that's enriching for them as well to get like the different. What am I getting
Yeah.
today? Oh, I get tripe, or I get hard, and it's cool for us. I like chopping up offal.
Ugh.
It's quite
Oh,
exciting.
you're gross.
Oh
you're
my God,
gross.
It's like a heart dissection. Like,
Girl.
wow.
I'm
I
also,
ordered.
so the only time that I don't I didn't like feeding raw, and I found it challenging, was when I'm going camping for a longer period of time with the dogs.
Yeah.
Like if you're going out for a week or a long weekend or something like that. When I used to go to the sledding days and stuff like that. Yeah,
okay.
which is really good because now I use the Ziwi Peak if I'm going to do that.
There's Canine Natural, and I think there's another one on the market as
Yeah,
well.
I don't know.
There's
a few
so
of them,
many.
It's so convenient. It's
So I do, but at home it's the raw.
real stuff. It's cheaper too, I reckon. I reckon it's cheaper.
I agree.
I think it's
I
cheaper.
agree. It is cheaper.
Yeah,
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Plus
So.
you're saving on vet visits because my dog used to get ear infection all the time.
Yeah.
Anal glands. What?
Yeah.
I think you told me, you're like, why are you doing your dog's anal glands?
Yeah.
Because he needs them done.
Yeah.
So, but now he gets like firm poos that does the anal glands for me.
That's so interesting. Yeah. So much to be said for food and nutrition.
So how did we get to this anyway? Because we started off with doing very little with our dogs.
We
just went
did.
down
Yeah.
the
Less is more. Yeah. The tunnel.
But we're talking about holistic. We're talking about doing less is more and going back to natural roots and sometimes just sitting down and I don't know if it's a thing, but I like sometimes if I just like with Jack, if I sit down and meditate, like it's almost like he's meditating with me.
Yeah.
He'll come in and sit and you can hear him like really like deep breath as well.
Yeah.
And I did it with Karma on Monday. I was like, I'm just gonna sit here and breathe, and she fell asleep on me. And
That's
she went over there and
nice.
so in the deep breaths from her, it was like, oh, I'm glad you're here because now I can relax. I'm like, we're just relaxing.
Yeah. So, I suppose if we're on this holistic view, what other sort of holistic things are we thinking about? So, I mean, there's, diet and how that affects our dogs.
Chemicals are not great.
Oh, mate.
How many chemicals? Like candles,
How much
for example.
time have we got? Come on, all you
washing powders.
you doTERRA people out there should be doing a lot of your own non-toxic stuff. I know I certainly have since I started using it. I don't have anything in the way of chemical cleaners in my house anymore.
But going through that process, you're aware of how much you have in your home as well.
You are, but what I never considered was, if we think about how far above the ground we stand, and if we think about how far above the ground our dogs stand, if we, take a floor cleaner, for example, or take a carpet cleaner, your dog is so much closer to the ground. Its sense of smell is so much more sensitive and more powerful than ours. How much more of all that crap is it actually absorbing in its body purely due to the proximity of its nose to the ground?
But also the fact that they need to go and clean themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, so they're ingesting it.
Yes.
But then what about skin absorption? Was it 25 seconds? It touches the skin, it's absorbed into the bloodstream.
Yeah, okay.
So there's the pads as well. They're ingesting it 3 different ways. That's
so
toxic.
much. Yes, toxicity. Yeah, and you think about all of that. Think about the bug sprays that we've got, that we have at home, because we have one at home, but I can't remember what it is. I can't remember the name. I'll leave that up to Bruce.
Pyrethrins, probably.
Yeah. I think that sounds about
right. Which is a natural one. Well, you can get synthetic ones, but
yes,
but it's designed to kill insects.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Poison. It kills stuff.
Yeah. So, so toxicity in the home, that's a huge one, I think.
Sounds. If you're living in a crazy busy environment.
Yep.
I know I'm like that when I go to the city. I'm like, I need quiet.
Get me out. It's too much.
And like things
put the earpods in.
Sensory overload.
Talking about sounds. I love doing all the enrichment type stuff and reading the research and things like that. And I must admit, I haven't actually found the research paper yet. And I heard it from a very reliable source, also known as Triple J.
Oh, yeah, the J!
And I can't remember if it was on Hack or something like that. And I can't remember. It was one of the Australian government research people. And, was it Tame Impala?
Oh.
I can't remember. They played a particular song on a constant loop. And what they discovered was whilst that song was playing, mosquitoes were less likely to feed and less likely to mate.
No way.
Whilst this song was playing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So or because it was repeated?
That is
I don't
crazy.
know. I don't know. But they've done some interesting things like, unfortunately for me, because, I like listening to heavy metal, there's been some research quite, I don't know, it's probably about 15 odd years old, or maybe a bit more than that, where playing heavy metal to termites made them eat faster.
Oh,
choppy.
So if you have a wood house, no heavy metal.
No.
Go to the metal shed out the back.
Yeah, but they've also done some other things. I think they was playing music to plants, and there's a different impact on different types of music on the plant growth.
Yeah.
And with with horses, and I'd have to refresh my memory on which one it is now, but certain music genres will encourage horses to eat, or if you've got an obese horse or something like that you need to eat less, there's a different type of music that you can play, and it helps to discourage that constant eating and things
Most
like that.
of my clients use, like, I go there during the day to see they've got their doTERRA oils burning, and they've got their spare iPod or iPhone playing because you can buy dog meditation apps.
You can.
Yeah.
So there's some like classical. I'm pretty sure Cooper's on like some rocky stuff at the moment. So we're experimenting with genres, and it's really interesting actually.
Yeah.
My mum said very early on when Chica first came into our household, I was at work one day and Chica didn't settle too well. So they turned on the radio for her. Apparently she likes Italian opera.
There you go.
But she settled down. I don't know, Anyway, I've never tried it again because it hasn't been a problem. But I remember her saying that.
Wow.
So other things that we can consider in this holistic view, or just the general care of our dogs, for me, is about body work. Looking at, what have we got? We've got Bowen therapy, there's massage, there's Tellington touch. What other sort of therapies, body therapies have we got?
Acupuncture,
red light,
yeah,
Reiki,
yeah,
pranic.
Yeah.
Do they do reflexology?
Reflex.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kinesiology.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the flower essences. And
Aromatherapy.
Absolutely. Yep. I definitely do that with I do that with Boss almost every day.
Getting them an appropriate bed to lay on. Okay, so this is new in my house. I had my sister-in-law stay over on Saturday night. Anyway, she went and Jack decided that was his bed. I reckon he's calmer. He's better on that bed. It's orthopedic.
Yeah.
It cost me a couple grand. He loves it.
Yeah.
He's so great. He actually moves a little bit better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not that I'm really specialised in movement, but I just feel like he's like a little bit peppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Because
good.
you got a special bed as well, didn't you?
I do, yeah. I bought Boss a orthopedic bed because of his wobblers, age, arthritis, whatever it is. And at the moment, he doesn't sleep on it because he's too hot. It's too hot for him. He still likes at the moment to lay on the tiles.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that he will use it more. Chica likes it. Reva likes it. They will have little times. They'll go from the lounge to the orthopedic bed, back to the lounge, into the crate, onto the floor, out the back. They rotate around a lot. And it's kind of cool to watch, really, because we give them choice. They do, actually. They get a lot of choice about where they want to lie. They can lay on the floor. They can lay on the orthopedic bed. They can lay on the snoozer bed. They can lay on the lounge, or they can go out the back. So they've got choice, and I've noticed that they all seem to rotate every couple of hours into, laying on something else.
Maybe that's important information. They're feeling this certain way, or I'm hot, I'm going to lay on the tiles.
Yeah. And then there's the times where they'll come and try and get up on the lounge with me, and that for me is like, they want some body work.
Yeah, okay.
Or they just want a bit of petting, bit of loving, or whatever.
Oxytocin chemical, isn't it? I just want, like, Jack, he'll sit there and he'll lean into me, and sometimes he'll grab my hand and he'll be like, "Can you massage me here?" I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Is that what you want? Okay. It's weird, but they're
Absolutely. So body therapies, and then of course there is behaviour change within the dog itself, which just encompasses so much. So it's about, what are we looking at? We're looking at pain or health, nutrition. We're looking at behaviour itself. There's so many aspects to environment. Just and if we have behaviour issues, we have to do the right thing and view every aspect. To just view it from a training only perspective, we are doing a disservice. It's wrong. It's wrong because
you've got to rule out the underlying reasons, the medical reasons, and looking at the function of the behaviour as well. What's the dog trying to achieve? What is the dog achieving by this, so that you can still meet that need when you're making those changes? And
well, that behaviour's communication as well. They're probably saying something. Expressing a need or a feeling.
All right. Cool. Well, that's a good one.
We could talk about this all day.
We could. Yes, we're in very much danger of talking about this aspect.
We are real dog nerds, guys. Dog nerds unite.
Dog nerds. Okay, so we'll post that up. Post your questions. Got any thoughts? Love to hear about them.
Talk to us.
And talk to us. That'd be really cool. All right. See ya.
Bye.